Good morning, Ed here from Winged Airfield. Welcome to the ranch. Today I'm going to talk about the Massey Ferguson 2850M. Going to give a review, my thoughts on it, some of the specifications, and if I recommend it. So stay tuned for that recommendation. This is a 2022 Massey Ferguson 2850M. It is a premium compact utility tractor. So it's not a subcompact. This is 48 horsepower, so it's considered compact, and it's utility because of some additional features and capabilities that it has. Quick story on how this tractor came to Winged Airfield. I was looking for a tractor. We had a International 656. Very good tractor. Gas engine, rated about 60 horsepower. It was good. It was a big tractor, being an older one. If you're familiar with the Farmall Internationals, it's a big tractor, big wide stance, very strong 3-point lift on it. Used it to mow the field quite a bit. Pulled some trees after we cut them down, pulled some trees back to the burn pile. Did not have a loader, was needing a loader. It operated a brush hog just fine. It was heavy, ag tires on it, sunk in, and when you're mowing the lawn afterwards, you felt every ripple from the tires. Looking for something that had a loader. I didn't want to look for a loader for that tractor since it was so big and so heavy. It was really more than what we needed. Not as far as horsepower wise, but just the weight of that tractor. So started looking, came across a couple of YouTubers that were doing reviews. Some of you may recognize some of these. Tractor Time with Tim, Piney Grove down in Florida, Brock with Rock Hill Farms, Morgan's, and I saw some TYM reviews from or informational videos from the tractor yard down near Tulsa. Did some more looking, had been looking for about 6 months, and the tractor yard had a really good deal on a TYM with some implements, and I was really close to buying one. This would have been April, coming up in April of 2025, so a little over a year ago. This is May 2026. I wasn't quite sure which tractor I wanted on the TYM. I know I wanted a loader. I was debating between open station or cab, and which size I wanted. If I wanted the 4550 or if I wanted to go jump up 65 horse or even a 74 horsepower tractor, I was really debating. 74 horsepower tractor would have been great, but I think overall size-wise, bigger than what we could properly use in some of the situations on this property. Made a call out to TYM or the tractor yard for TYM, and between that phone call and pulling the trigger on one of those, this Massey Ferguson showed up on Marketplace down in Arkansas. We are in South Central Kansas, so Arkansas is not that far away, half day. I made a phone call to that dealer, and the next day took a trip and brought this Massey Ferguson and some implements home. So that's how this Massey Ferguson came to be. Growing up on the farms I worked on, my all-time favorite tractor is a Case 1070, followed up by early 80s Massey Ferguson. I believe they're assist tractors in the 120, 140 horsepower range, right in there. Plowed a lot of ground with both of those, operated a lot of other equipment with them. And then John Deere wise, probably my favorite is much older and smaller tractor, is the 2640 with the diesel. But I've always been a fan of Massey Ferguson. The older ones had Perkins engines. They were great. Into this one here, got my notes. Massey Ferguson 2850M. These were built from 2020 to 2024. For the 2025 and 2026, they are a 2.50M just different classifications, same horsepower. I'm sure there's some changes with them. Right now, current production, I'm not sure in this horsepower size range what Massey Ferguson is making. Premium compact utility tractor, it is available, was available, open station or cab. The engine is a 2.4 liter turbocharged. It's common rail direct injection, 48 horsepower, engine horsepower. There are two different transmissions. The hydrostatic transmission, the PTO is rated at 36 horsepower, and the geared transmission is rated at 38 horsepower. The engine, the Iseki engine, is a very well-known engine for its durability and longevity. It's Tier 4 compliant with a DPF, so diesel particulate filter, and a DOC, diesel oxidation catalyst. There's no DEF with this. It's Tier 4 compliant. There is a regeneration that it'll have, and it'll happen automatically. On the instrument panel, there'll be an indication that pops up. They'll let you know that it's time for regeneration. If you're out using it, keep using it. It'll regenerate on its own automatically. If you're in a situation, say you're using this on a farm and you're changing out bedding for pens, and you're in loose straw or you're in a really dry area, it does have a override or a pause on the regeneration. So during regenerations, if you're unfamiliar with it, engine exhaust goes up significantly. So the exhaust gets very hot. So if you're in really dry conditions, it may not be a good idea to let it do a regeneration. So you can pause it so you can move away from that dangerous area and let it regenerate in a more non-fire friendly environment. And there's also an option where you can do a park regeneration. So you can set the parking brake, take it out of gear, you press and hold the button for, I think it's 3 seconds, and you're manually putting putting the engine into regeneration, and it'll automatically control the RPM. It'll bring it up to where it needs to be. It'll go through the regeneration and on from there. So not bad if you're finishing up a job and you needed to pause, but then you get it back to the barn and you're ready to park it. So you can set that manual regeneration so you're ready to go the next day. Not a lot of problems with the DPF and the Cadillac. They're very reliable if you work these engines. So these are diesel engines. They want to be worked. So keep them under loads. What hurts them is very light loads. You're just moving some pallets around. You're never really working the engine. Or if you do a lot of idling, and this not the extended idling. So not a warm up in the morning or a cool down after working type of idling where it's going to idle for 5 minutes or so to warm up. Being turbocharged, highly recommend let that engine warm up a little bit, get some heat in that turbocharger before you put it under a heavy load. And then also when you're done working it, give it a couple minutes to stabilize the temperature. I like to say stabilization. Cooling down depends on your ambient temperatures, how cool you're going to get it. But you do want that turbocharger to stabilize so any dissimilar metals won't bind as they cool down. All right, flipping over to the next page here. I wrote down 3 pages of notes to do this. The transmission. This particular tractor we have here is a hydrostatic. It's a 3-range hydrostatic. So the 3-range hydrostatic means you have 3 different ranges. On this particular one, they use a rabbit for high speed, so it's a low, medium, and a high range, or you could say it's a granny gear, low range, high range. It's got the bunny rabbit and the turtle, typical bunny rabbit, turtle, and snail. The geared transmissions on the Massey Ferguson 2850M is a 12x12, 12 forward, 12 reverse. It is a 3-range 4-speed transmission. So you have 4 speeds and you have the same 3-range gearing like the hydrostatics do. And the geared are a shuttle. It's a shuttle shift. This one is straight hydrostatic. I wanted a shuttle shift. growing up with gear transmissions, I never really had a big problem with doing loader work, forward and aft shifting gears. Shuttle shift makes that real easy, so you get the kind of the best of both worlds with a shuttle shift. The hydrostatic is nice, and I'll get into one of the features I don't like and how I operate this tractor to make it where I like it a little better. It is four-wheel drive, power steering, hydraulic power steering, and it has wet disc brakes on it. PTO, it's a 540 PTO with the option of a belly, a center PTO option. If you had a belly mower or some other options for that, that's available. This tractor does not have it, but it does have the lever to take the PTO and disengage it so it's in neutral, so your spline in the rear free spins, makes it much easier hooking up equipment. But it would also, it's a 3-position lever. If this had a center PTO link, I could move it into the center to engage the center. This one does not have it. The PTO has a soft start option, so it is not a mechanical lever engagement for the PTO operation. It is a push button, a rotary, push in a rotary button, and it has a soft start. So instead of just the gears slamming in, the clutch within the transmission slamming in, instant starting, it ramps up. It takes, it spreads it over a second or a little bit more to engage, which is really nice on big brush cutters, rotary cutters that have large mass of like rotating items. You don't want that harsh engagement. You can do the soft start. I use the soft start all the time. I don't know any cons of it, but it is, there could be something that someone knows more about the transmissions and the drive lines on these. If there's a con of using the soft start, put that in the comments. I'd like to learn what it is, but right now I can't think of what it is. I'm used to mechanical engagement, and you could slowly get the drive line, the PTO drive line rotating and then engage it, so you didn't have that harsh, knocking of the gears. Hydraulic flow, 12.6 gallons per minute. And the steering has a 7 gallons per minute. This particular tractor I have has a single rear remote, has the option for 3 rear remotes. It does have the connection for the loader. Loader is on. That's on the other side. And there is a port to put in for a third function for the loader assembly, and it's on that same hydraulic port that the loader feeds off of. There's another port. There's a little adapter you have to get from AGCO. You can hook up a loader third function option on it. I do not have any equipment that needs the rear remotes at this time. Just 3-point equipment with PTOs. But there will eventually be a time I would like to either rent, borrow, demo. I'd like to demo Bomba-Lite, if you're out there. A stump grinder with the swing. There are a lot of stump grinders where you can move the tractor forward and aft. Not a big. They're functional. They work. Having the swing ability, I think it gives you a little more control on them. This tractor comes in. So the cab and the open station tractors, there's going to be some options that will change the weights, but they're going to be in the 4,000 to 4,500 pound range. This one has the rear tires. They are ballast. They are filled. The rears are 9.5/16, and the fronts, the front tires are 9.5/16, and the rear tires are 13.6/28, and they're ballast filled. They add some weight. With the loader capacity, even with the ballast on here, the rear tires will get light at the maximum payload on the loader. So having additional ballast on the back, whether you got a box blade or rotary cutter or actual weight hanging off your 3-point, that will really help with taking some of the weight off the front end and keeping your back end stable on the ground. So the 4-wheel drive comes in great when doing loader work. Even a full bucket of dirt makes it a little light. Add some, but the 4-wheel drive helps with that. 3-point lift, has an option for draft control. This tractor does not have a draft control. It is lifting capacity at the ends of the 3-point, so where the pins go, it's going to be 3483 at the ends, and then 24 inches behind, you lose about 400 pounds. It's a little over 3,000 pounds for that. 3-point works really good. Powered lift does not have, it's not a powered down, but for what I use with box blade and mowers, it works fine. This size tractor with a 3-point, you might be able to pull a 3-bottom plow, 3x16 plow, depending on the type of soil you're going through. If you're busting sod with the hydrostatic, definitely want to be in low range. You're going to be going slow and eating up a lot of horsepower to pull 3 bottoms through breaking up pasture sod. 2 bottom would do better. If it was regular soil that had been turned regularly, you could probably pull a 3 bottom, no problem. Possibly a 4, through an old cornfield, a year-old cornfield. The loader on this is Massey Ferguson loader. It's a FL 2814. It is not auto leveling, not a big deal. The joystick, you learn operating joystick, or even if you have a double lever valve configuration, you learn how to level roll your forks or your bucket as you're raising it to stay level if you need to. Not a big deal. Auto level on loaders is really nice, and it does add a little more weight to it and complexity to it, but it makes it much easier when you're loading equipment. Growing up, didn't do a lot of work with loader tractors. Every now and then, mostly in the orchard, moving tote boxes around. On the farm, maybe when the skid loader went down, put a loader on a tractor to clean out the barns. Most of the time it was skid loaders, and skid loaders, the way the booms operate, they're all New Holland. As the boom rises, it goes forward just a little bit, and it keeps everything, so it's like the back of the boom configuration rises up. For those who don't know, New Holland skid loaders are built in Wichita, Kansas. So load capacities for this FL 2814 is 2,570 at the pins. 20 inches forward of the pins, it drops down to 1880. Significant drop when you go further out. Lift height at the pins is 111 inches. With a clearance at level of 104 inches. So not terrible. You'll get in the back. We should be able to get in the back of the grain truck with this one here without any problem. Grain truck's kind of small. Regular dump truck, you're not going to do it without a ramp or an elevated area. Equipment that came with this tractor, 72-inch bucket, pretty standard for the loader. Do have pallet forks, a 6-foot box blade, and a 6-foot rotary cutter, brush hog. Sold the one that came with this one because I already had a Titan 6-foot cutter, which was a little heavier duty. I felt was a little heavier duty, so I kept the Titan and got rid of the other one. And I noticed a difference operating the Titan rotary cutter, brush hog, on this tractor versus the one that came with it. The Titan does take a little bit more. And recently picked up a finish mower, 84-inch finish mower. Use that to mow the runway and walking path around the field. Would I recommend the Massey Ferguson 2850M? Yes, as long as you understand how the hydrostatic works on this one here. And here's where I'll get into how I operate it. This has hydrostatic with auto throttle. Now there is a hand throttle, mechanical throttle that you can set the throttle. But so how auto throttle works is as you press your forward pedal for your hydrostatic to go forward, the RPMs will automatically come up. And as it gets under load, the RPMs will increase to match what it needs to. So your forward or reverse pedal input, the tractor will then sense, well, how fast are we going? What are we doing? And it will automatically adjust the throttle for that. What you run into when you're doing loader work is lots of throttle up, throttle down, throttle up, throttle down as you're doing the loader work. This hydrostatic transmission also has a response speed and a maximum speed. So the response speed dial electronically controls the solenoids and the valving. So as you were to press forward, to go forward, it may not engage instantly. It'll ramp up a little bit. So you're not at harsh moving forward, moving back. It'll ramp up. And same with when you're letting off. For example, when I'm mowing the runway and I get to the end, I use the cruise control. So it does have a push button cruise control. I use the cruise control, and to disengage the cruise control, you can touch the brake, touch the hydrostatic pedals, or disengage the cruise control button. I'll touch the hydrostatic pedal, if I have the response control set to fast, it stops pretty quick and you kind of move forward in your seat. If you slow down that hydrostatic response, it glides down, more so like you're pushing the clutch in on a regular tractor. You'll roll a little bit and it slows down. So I will adjust that when I'm doing field work like that. When I'm doing loader work, I may leave it on fast response. The maximum speed is set, so each of the 3 ranges will give you a maximum speed with your hydrostatic at full engine RPM. So with the max speed, this will allow you to set the maximum speed in any of the 3 speed ranges for the hydrostatic. So you can go full pedal and it will only go to the maximum speed that you set. Now with hydrostatics, if you're climbing a hill and you're pulling something in a field and you're going up an incline, it's working hard. What you don't want to do is add more pedal. What you want to do is manually add more engine RPM, add more horsepower, but you don't necessarily want to push more pedal. That's going to take more hydraulic fluid, more load off from the engine. So little difference there. I personally do not like the auto throttle. So how I operate this is how I would operate a skid loader, which is hydrostatic drive, is I will set the throttle RPM to, let's say, 2,000 RPM, and then just operate the tractor normally back and forth. So the engine stays up, gets maximum oil flow, gets maximum airflow, coolant flow, gets the hydraulic pumps running. I found that it actually operates a little cooler because now we're moving all those fluids regularly without idling down speed and ramping back up again. So that's how I operate this. If I'm out mowing, I may just set the speed and go, but typically you're running PTO anyhow, so you're setting it for your PTO speed. So other than the auto throttle, I don't like the auto throttle. The hydrostatic drive is okay. I personally prefer gear drive with a shuttle shift, but hydrostatic drive works. It's okay. This is open station, as you can see, and it has the ROPS and it's foldable, which I'm glad, because none of our, other than the hangar, the other barns, the doorways aren't tall enough for the ROPS to come in, so able to fold that down and bring it in. Fuel tank is loaded down low right next to me here. 14-gallon fuel tank. It lasts quite a while. It's a very fuel efficient engine for what it is. I mowed the entire 15-acre hayfield and did not use a full tank of fuel, and that ran for 4 or 5 hours. We do have a Vevor 50-gallon portable fuel caddy that we use, and there's a fuel station about a quarter mile down the road. So we just put that, I can use that, put that in the back of the truck, go fill it up, and bring it back and unload it with the tractor. I was just taking the tractor down there. Now I don't have to. There's a review on the Massey Ferguson 2850M. It's a good tractor. I like the Massey Ferguson. The Siki engine is great. Lifting capacity, loader capacity on the front of this could be more. Put a clip in. If I didn't have it in the beginning of this, there'll be a little clip of unloading the retaining wall blocks off the trailer.
Barely.
I found the max limit, and I counted how many blocks I had to remove before this would lift it up, did the calculations, weighed the pallet. Yeah, and the specs are pretty much spot on with this. Put one more block back on and went over the limit, and it would get it off the trailer, but it wouldn't pick it up anymore. And then you hear the bypass or the relief valve squealing in the hydraulics. So that's it. The seat isn't the best comfort-wise. The armrests on it, the previous owner who had it, he broke one of the armrests. So that makes it a little uncomfortable, but the seat is adjustable, weight adjustable. Forward aft is not height adjustable. Nice height adjustable one would be nice. I'm kind of tall. I like sitting up and back a little bit more, but all in all, it's good. It's a good tractor. So, any questions on the Massey Ferguson, or what would you prefer to operate? A TYM, a Kubota, a John Deere? Let me know. I'm lucky I'm in an area where AGCO, there are multiple dealers within an hour drive of me, so not a big problem getting parts, and the parts aren't terribly bad. I can't compare that to John Deere. There's plenty of John Deere dealers around too. Plenty of Kubota. Kubota parts seem to be higher. They seem to have a market on their premium pricing, in my opinion. So thanks for watching. If there's another piece of equipment you'd like to see, or something else on the ranch you'd like to see, drop a comment. Let us know what you want to see. Next week is going to be setting up the fifth wheel and the bees. So the beehives are up and running. We'll do a review of that. I'm going to put the honey supers on today, and we'll get that filmed, and we're going to set the fifth wheel up next weekend. Some friends are coming out, and we're going to set up the fifth wheel for them, and we'll burn a brush pile, weather permitting, and stay up late and give them a place to crash. So appreciate you watching. Hit that like, make a comment, and subscribe so you can see the latest coming up, and tell your friends. So till next time, thanks for watching. See ya.